Well, we got a little bit of a rain delay down at Brad's. I just got down a little bit ago. We've been in the shop working, and we get done with work, get ready to get in the truck, and a giant cell came through. But I think it's supposed to open up here in probably 30 minutes to an hour, and then I think there's another big cell coming, so we're going to try to get in between those. And then after that one's gone, then I think we're good for the rest of the night. But wait for this rain to get going. Not that I don't like fishing in the rain, because I really do. The fish usually bite, but can't film in the rain.
Angry. Ready? Yeah. Real weird.
Ooh, look at that eyeball.
I see that.
I'm glad we got a new net with a giant long handle.
Wow.
Wow,
what is going on with that eye?
She can see that bait really good, I think.
I don't think I've ever seen one like that.
I definitely haven't. Good job, Brad.
Alright, well, we're fishing on Miltona, and we have the Alexandria Data Collection Tournament. So what we're going to do here is we're going to read this, see if it's got a pit tag in the fish, and make sure that it doesn't or it does. Either way, you want a picture of it on that tournament challenge. Then we're going to measure it and take a couple photos and then watch it release. But we probably won't do all of that on the camera right now, but we are going to check it with the pit tag reader, so I'm going to do that real quick. Wow, it beeped right away. Now, you can see it. These aren't waterproof, so you got to have it in a bag, and it is a tagged fish. There we go. Sweet. So, we'll do some measuring, report this on that data challenge, and it's going to give more information to the DNR. Pretty cool. Alright, so we just measured the fish. It's a 42-incher. I put it back in the bag because it's hard to do everything when you're filming. It's just Chase and I out on the water tonight. We have to do that through the Fish Donkey app, so got that portion done. This fish is crazy. When we seen it come into the boat, the eyeball is like literally hanging out. It's like a horror story. So I'm going to lift her out. We're going to take a look at her. We're going to get her back in the water to go bye-bye. So nice fish to start the night. Hopefully you can stay on them. All right, there's that eyeball. Wow, what a crazy deal. And she is one pissy fish, I can tell you that. But look at that eyeball. Little 42-incher. Pretty cool. Look at that. Chase looks like it's been speared. Got some dents in the back. Unbelievable. Well, let's get her back and see if we can't go find some more fish. Welcome back to Mayhem's 10,000 Cast. And that is on an M13 Jensen sucker from Team Rhino Outdoors. Great way to start the night. Wake up, girly. like I said, brand new bait by Muskie Mayhem Tackle in a Team Rhino custom color, Jensen Sucker M13 Mimic. Brand new this year. They just released like last week. A little bit bent up. Straighten it back out. It's a jointed bait, 3/4 ounce weight, 4/0 on the top, 7 on the bottom, and a big old 13 blade. Tons of vibration. Obviously the fish like them. Check them out, Team Rhino Outdoors.
New for 2026 from Muskie Mayhem Tackle. The Reactor, a bait built for speed without the angler fatigue. A brand new inline blade bait that creates plenty of noise and vibration at high speeds of retrieval. When fish want it fast, throw the brand new Reactor from Muskie Mayhem Tackle, proven to make fish react.
Magnum Ventures Inc., a woman-owned company, has you protected when it comes to snow, sand, and wind structural fencing products, providing residential, commercial, governmental, and Department of Transportation options for superior property and roadway protection. Proudly made in the USA, Magnum Ventures structural snow fence reduces the drifting and icing of roadways, decreasing the number of accidents and the need for roadside assistance. Contact Magnum Ventures at www.magveninc.com for your project needs.
Fish number 2, I'm going to do, see if it's got a pit tag in it. That one's going to be really cool in film. She came up and ate it like 20 feet out. I set the hook, and it must have swam to me or something. I didn't get much weight, and then it must have turned, and then it came off, and then it followed back in. I slapped the bait back in the water. Went around to figure 8, she came up and ate it again. So they're eating really good, so we're going to try to do this as quick as we can. Yeah, no, I just turned it on. That one does not have one. Nope, no tag. No tag, I need to take a picture of that real quick. Okay, that's done. We'll get her out real quick, bump her, take a picture of her on the bump for the study. This is a lot of hassling around when we're trying to film, but it's for a good cause. I think Brad will talk about it a little bit more in depth. Kind of cool this year in Minnesota. There's a lot of muskie studies going on in Brad's area. I don't know much about this one. They're doing studies on leech. I know a lot about that. I think we talked about that last week. But Brad will be more in depth, but we're going to take care of this fish and get back on it. We just caught that fish 10 minutes ago, so I think they're biting pretty good. So let's get her taken care of. Bumped her and did the tournament deal. Probably took 10 seconds. She's good. We let her rest a little bit longer, and I'll get the bait out real quick. So I had a guide trip here the other day, about a week ago. Lee, if you're watching, we're fishing right where you've seen all your fish. So we had a spot that had just a ton of fish on it. So we waited till sunset, pulled back up here, me and Brad that is, and we're chucking a detonator because the day that I guided, all the action was on a big detonator, Wicked Witch detonator, going pretty quick with it. So I'm sticking with it, going pretty fast. Brad's going with the Mimic, which really made me want to put it on earlier. But anyways, the bait we're catching, I caught that one on, is a Muskie Mayhem tackle, detonator, Wicked Witch. I absolutely love a detonator. It's hard to beat this bait. It really doesn't pull as hard as everyone thinks it does. I'm just chucking it out there and cranking her back, nice and quick. A good thing about a bigger bait like this, Brad's going a little bit slower with an M13. He's getting a little deeper. I'm going fast with a big bait. The reason I went to a big bait fast is just because the fish are sitting in about 15 to 16 foot of water. So a little bit bigger profile going fast. The fast is the trigger, but the bigger profile is bigger to get them to come up a little farther. In my opinion and experience, you want a little bit bigger bucktail if the fish are sitting that deep and you're wanting to go fast. If you're going slow, you can kind of throw whatever size you want. But we're gonna get this one taken care of and hurry up and get some more because they are biting. Super pretty fish. 41 and a half. Beauty. I love them all. Super healthy fish. Man, they are pretty this year. Super pretty. Get her back. This one had no pit tag. Lots of teeth in you, aren't you? You dumb. You ate twice. You can tell they are sitting in the weeds this year with all those markings. Super colorful. So one real quick thing about the study is the pit tag reader. I think you can get those off Amazon. They're not very expensive. But this study, they do want to know if they have a pit tag, and they want to know the number, and they also want to know if they don't have a pit tag. So even like that fish didn't have a pit tag, I still took a picture of the scanner saying no tag. That way it tells the DNR that fish did not have a pit tag. All right, Brad, let's get some more. This is fun.
Well, we're fishing some shallower weeds, somewhere between that 10 and 15 foot. And the whole game plan is to do the night fishing, as Chase said in the opening of the show. But sun's finally starting to go down. We've got 2 in the bag already. And we're going to kind of work some different areas here that we've kind of skimmed over some of the edges. Now we're going to get up on top and kind of mix it up a little bit, see if we can't get some more fish. So stay tuned. It might be lights out here shortly, but hopefully we'll get one more before the sun goes all the way down.
Well, we're back on the same area that I caught mine on. A little bit shallower of a pass just to try, and we haven't raised anything, but I might have just had a late follow. I don't know. I just looked down, there's one sitting there. And it kind of took off. About the same size as the others, at low 40s probably. We're just starting to get into darkness here. Not quite, but here in another hour or so it should be pretty dark. But we're coming up on full moon, so we have a good lit night, clear skies. Starting to flatten out, which I like, so I think it'll be good. We'll keep this this detonator on for a little bit longer, then switch to something a little brighter. In a light night, I like a light colored bait, like a white or a pink, and I did really good on pink detonators last year, so I'll probably switch to that here shortly. That is what you want to see. That's what we're fishing. Going slow, just tickling that cabbage. That one's stuck on there. Usually you can kind of give it a hard little tap and it'll rip it off or rip through it, but I ripped up the whole stalk there, but man, is that some green cabbage. Super, super pretty stuff. Throwing my pink detonator, full moon night. I like pink and white. Chartreuse is good, but I really like its pink. Did really good on it last year. But I think we've raised 2 so far after like darkness. One was a pretty good one. I just barely could see it in the moonlight, but we're just kind of circling this cabbage patches. We're just finding patches of cabbage, doing a circle or 2 around it, going to find another patch of cabbage, doing a circle or 2 around it. It's not really a big weed bed this year. It's like really spotty, patchy stuff, which I actually prefer, because it makes the area a lot smaller what you want to target. That makes it really nice for night fishing, especially since we haven't really been out. Brad's been working a lot. I've been up at Leech. So we don't have a ton of fish found other than my guide trip the other day, and then Brad's been out a little bit here and there. But we're gonna keep sticking with it, and hopefully we get another window.
Well, that's a wrap for day 1. Plan was to night fish. We did that. Seen a couple after dark. You know, it's one of them deals with the moon as bright as it was. you could see pretty good. The wind has picked up now. We're probably 2-3 hours into the dark, so I don't know, fish just didn't cooperate after dark like we were hoping, but we got 2 before dark, so we're not going to argue with that. We'll be back out tomorrow, and we'll check you guys out tomorrow.
What 3 words do you always hear in a boat when catching muskies?
Again, Team Rhino.
Team Rhino color.
Team Rhino Outdoors.
Team Rhino Outdoors.
Team Rhino Outdoors.
Little Pit Bull from Team Rhino Outdoors.
Team Rhino Outdoors.
Said Team Rhino Custom Color.
Team Rhino Outdoors.
Team Rhino Custom Color.
Another Team Rhino color. Man, I'll tell you what, Team Rhino makes some awesome custom colors.
Order your custom baits and muskie equipment now from TeamRhinoOutdoors.com.
Meet your full-time guide, Chase Gibson from Gibson's Guide Service. If you're looking for a guided muskie trip and an experience of a lifetime, Chase has you covered. Offering guided trips in West Virginia, Ohio, and Minnesota. Book your trip now by calling or texting Chase at 304-816-6607.
Muskie Bumper, a solid measuring platform for your catch. Constructed with strong plastic that floats and stainless steel hardware for years of use. Check us out at fishbumper.com. We measure your success.
Well, we just got out probably an hour ago, I would say. Just had our first follow. We're out about midday again. Brad had a lot of work to do in the shop, which is pretty normal, but he's got a new bait out this year, which you've already seen. We got a fish on yesterday called the Mimic. It's an awesome little bait. That was the M13 yesterday. It's a big blade, little profile. He's got the M9. That one would be a 9 blade, and that's going to be a little bit smaller profile, but really busy building a lot of those this morning. So we just got out. It's midday. It's probably right around 12 if I had to guess. I'm not even sure. But I just raised the first fish. I actually built a red detonator this morning. I don't know why. I just decided to try red. Seems like it's not a color that a lot of people throw anymore. I've heard a lot of good stories about red from back in the day. So just had that follow. It was kind of hot, but I would say I picked it up probably, I don't know, 70 feet out if I had to guess, because we're drift fishing right now, and she was really hot out there and then just kind of slowed down to the boat. Almost like she didn't see it till we were kind of close to her. But nice fish, probably low 40s. We're gonna keep going though. I'm still doing the same program, chucking a big detonator, going pretty quick. Not burning, but pretty quick. I could see it the whole way in on the cast. But all the fish that we're seeing, they all seem to be in that 15 to 16 and a half is what it really seems like. That's where a lot of the best cabbage is. So we're gonna stick with that program and keep chucking here. We're not even where we were fishing yesterday yet, so. This is a new spot. We haven't fished yet, but we putted across it for a little bit. Mark II on side imaging, went up above, and while Brad was getting the rod or the cameras ready, I putted us up and we turned around, and now we're drifting down through here, and we just moved one of them, so it's good. We'll get bigging today.
All right, it's late afternoon. We've had quite a few follows. Fish are getting a little bit more active. Each time that we've had a follow, it seems like they're getting a little bit more spunky. You know, last night the window was about an hour before dark, so we're hoping that that bite comes to fruition here this afternoon. We've probably got 3 to 4 hours before we had that time frame yesterday where we caught. So stick with us on that. I do want to talk a little bit about the Fish Donkey app, and I want to talk about the data challenge that we talked about yesterday, where we were checking the lengths of the fish as well as the whether or not it had a pit tag in it. The whole purpose and the sole purpose for this whole part is for the public to actually be involved to help our fisheries biologists determine some different information. Number one, whether it's a tag fish. Number two is the length of that fish. And as an example, the fish I caught yesterday had been tagged in 2021 and it was 28.5 inches long. So yesterday I caught the fish, it was 42. So basically it grew 14 inches since 2021. Pretty cool stuff. That kind of information normally only comes from the DNR, but this is an opportunity for the public to actually get involved. So definitely something to check into. We're going to probably do this again next year. By the time you see this season will be gone, so it won't really affect you. But definitely a way for the public to get involved with the DNR offices.
Well, little evening update. We are about 10 minutes away from when I think Brad caught his first one last night. We've raised, I don't know how many, probably 5 or 6 more. I raised all mine on a detonator. Brad just raised one on a Team Rhino custom collar. Pacemaker ball buster, I believe, is the same one that we caught him on last year. But we're just pulling up on these fish. Kind of a little bit better. I can't really remember what I've told you, but a little bit more in depth of what we're doing is you got a deep weed edge, and this year there's not like a ton of crapweed this year. It's a lot of just really good cabbage, but it's not just everywhere in the lake. You got to kind of find it. Seems like the best cabbage, the absolute best, where it's from the bottom pretty much almost to the top, is in like that 15 to 15 and a half, 14 and a half, somewhere in there. Seems to where the sweet spot is, and there's a lot of fish there. So if you were to typically this lake, the weed edge, you can keep your boat in like 20 and you're hitting all that. In some places, the steep breaks in here, you can do that. But this year kind of seems like you need to be just a little bit touch in closer, like keep the boat in like 17, 16 in some spots. But it's really, really pretty cabbage, and those fish are relating to it. We've got plenty of fish found. As the night progresses, we're just going to keep rotating those 4 or 5 spots where those fish are and see if we can't get them to go. Well, the sun's setting. Just had one eat the detonator about 20 feet out. Set the hook, never got hooks, and then it ended up actually falling into the boat. Wasn't as dumb as or fired up as one last night that did the same thing but then ate it on the figure 8. This one did not do that. Actually seen a tear in her mouth where she, I'm assuming from me setting the hook on it. And then I just raised another one, two kind of hot ones, so we're getting into maybe a window again, kind of like we said earlier. Right at dark, but one thing I was sitting thinking about is when you're throwing big blades, bucktails are already kind of a hard thing to cast anyways, but especially when you get into like the supermodels or the detonators and those big blades. One thing that can really help you is have just a little bit of a softer tip of a rod. So this one's just like a heavy. This is a 10-6 heavy, fast tip. So what that allows you to do is that rod really loads up and then throws that bucktail. And then number 2, more importantly, is instead of like on rubber, you kind of let go like right there, you hold on to your thumb just a little bit longer and kind of whip it out there. Instead of just nice slow throw, you keep that thumb on there just a little bit longer and it'll kind of throw that bucktail out there, because they're not really that heavy and they catch a lot of wind. So they need a little bit more momentum, kind of like that. And it'll throw that blade a lot farther. Nice fish, Brad.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the light.
Not bad. Oh, we worked hard for that one. Alright, we finally got one. It's been probably 40 minutes to an hour after we talked to you last. I found a white Medusa right after that. Brad's like, I think there's one in our box, because we have one big lakewood that we share, and it's actually a special one. It's the Medusa that I caught my biggest muskie ever on 2 years ago. So we'll get her unpinned and I'll show that to you. She's still mad. Right there. Pull pausing that Medusa, exactly what I was talking about earlier. Just kind of pull pausing it, and I'm not like ripping or anything, and I'm not like crawling it either. I'm kind of like that, and then reeling up at, kind of keeping a tight line the whole time. I just want that Medusa just kind of hopping through those weeds. I'm hitting weeds fairly often. Team Rhino custom color, albino Cisco husky Medusa. This is actually the same one that I caught my 55 on a couple years ago on film. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch that one. This is a special Medusa for me. Sometimes I pull pause on these really bright nights when you're raising them on bucktails like crazy. On a really calm, clear sky, full moon night, try some rubber. Try some husky Medusa, that catfish, any of that kind of stuff like that. That's just a lot of water movement, but not noise. Seems to work really, really well on these type of nights. We'll get her out real quick, get her on the bump, and then get her back. She looked really big when I first seen her, but I didn't have a light on. Forgot my headlamp. She's just mad, that's all. She's just mad. Okay, I'll do it. Here we go. Awesome fish for the night. Super fat, thick one. We're seeing some nice fish. It's just this little bit mid-40s and smaller. The ones eating, those big ones just aren't quite committing. But let's get her on the bump real quick. Super, super pretty fish. Very healthy. 43 and a half. It looks so cool at night. That was a mean one though. As soon as we got her net, she soaked us. Well, let's get everything straightened up, Brad, and we got a little bit farther to go. We'll go down through here a little bit ways. We just got one, so it's kind of hard to leave, but we're just about to leave, literally. And so, go a little bit farther and see what happens, and then we'll probably call it a night.
Well, that's a wrap for show number 3. It feels good to have 3 in the can already this time of the year. You know, we really fought for these fish. There's no question about it. Put in some long hours, but you know what? Muskie fishing isn't always easy, and if you put your time in, you're going to see a bunch of fish, and that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to work a little extra harder than everybody else to put more fish in the bag. It was a good time. Our plan was to do some night fishing. Ended up getting some before dark last night. Had some other activity after dark, and what a crazy day today it follows. A lot of fun that way, and got one after dark, kind of like what our plan was. So it worked out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys all next week.